So, before we can even think about testing, we have to get inside a viewer's head. We need to understand what's happening in that split second they decide whether or not to click. It's this super fast, three-step process that I like to call the Click Trinity.
And this is where it gets really interesting. It all starts with the visual stun gun. Your thumbnail has to be so eye-catching that it stops their thumb dead in its tracks. As soon as you've got their attention, their eyes immediately dart to the title for the value hunt. They're asking, what's in this for me? And then, this is the most important part, they look back at the thumbnail for visual validation. They're checking to make sure the image backs up the promise in the title. So it's thumbnail to title, back to thumbnail. And this whole dance, it happens in less than 2 seconds. Wild, right?
And that right there leads to a huge mindset shift for how you should be creating content. A killer thumbnail isn't just something you slap on at the end. It's the entire foundation of your video's success, and it needs to be planned out before you even think about hitting record.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that your thumbnail and your title, that's your video's packaging. You've got to know how you're going to hook someone before you create the thing you're trying to sell them. Once you nail down that hook, you'll find that the video content almost creates itself around that core promise. Okay, enough of the theory. Let's get tactical. You know the psychology, you've got your concept locked in, so what specific visual elements should you actually be A/B testing to find that million-view winner? Let's get right into the checklist. Now, before you test a single thing, you have to live by these 3 ground rules. First, keep it simple. Seriously, think 3 core elements on the screen max. Second, keep your text short and punchy, somewhere in that 3 to 5 words sweet spot. And maybe most important of all, keep it big. Always zoom way out and ask, can I still read this and understand what's happening on a little phone screen? If the answer is no, it's way too complicated. All right, with those ground rules in mind, let's kick off our checklist. And we're starting with a classic, one of the easiest and most impactful tests you can run. Does your thumbnail work better with a human face or without one? You know, sometimes seeing a face creates this instant human connection, right? It just builds trust. But other times, a really clean, graphic-focused design without a face can get the video's value across way more directly. There's no single right answer, and that's exactly why you have to test what works for your audience and your topics. Okay, so let's say a face is the winner for you. We're not done yet. The next level is to test the emotion on that face. This is such a subtle thing, but it is an incredibly powerful lever to pull. Think about it. A big, shocked expression subconsciously tells the viewer, "Whoa, you're not going to believe this." But a calm, pointing expression says, "Here is the clear, direct explanation you've been looking for." The emotion you show on your face sets the entire expectation and tone for the video before they even click. Next up, let's talk about composition. This isn't just about what elements you put in the thumbnail. It's about where you put them. The way you arrange your subject, your text, and any other graphics can completely change how the thumbnail feels. So, you could have a perfectly centered, symmetrical layout. That can feel really stable and direct. Or you could try an asymmetrical layout, maybe using the classic rule of thirds. That can feel way more dynamic and actually guide the viewer's eye across the image. Test them both out and see what feels more compelling.
And last but definitely not least, we've got to talk about color. But here's the secret. This isn't just about picking pretty colors. It's all about contrast. We're trying to create that visual stun gun effect we talked about earlier to make your thumbnail pop right off the page.
A high-contrast design with bright, vivid colors just screams for attention. But you know, sometimes a darker, moodier, more cinematic look can create this sense of mystery and intrigue. A great little trick here is to look at what colors your competitors are using and then do the complete opposite to make sure you stand out. Okay, so your head is probably spinning a little bit, right? Face versus no face, different expressions, layouts, colors, that's a lot of options. And it brings up a very practical question. How on earth are you supposed to create all these high-quality variations without spending your entire life in a design tool?
Well, this is exactly where AI tools have become a total game changer. Take Pop by Tooli, for example. It's basically your own AI-powered YouTube thumbnail design studio. The whole thing is built around the hook psychology we've been talking about. So instead of clicking through a million templates, you literally just describe what you want, and Pop brings it to life using proven strategies. It's just way faster, more intuitive, and completely focused on getting you results.
Okay, so you've got your variations ready to go. Now for what might be the easiest part of this whole process, actually running the test. YouTube has made this super simple. It's really just a simple 3-step dance. 1, you've got your 2 or 3 designs ready. 2, when you're uploading your video, just go to the thumbnail section, click those little dots, and hit Test and Compare. Upload your options, and you're off to the races. And 3, and this one is key, you gotta be patient. Let it run for at least a few days, maybe even a couple of weeks, to collect enough data to really be meaningful.
All right, we're at the finish line. And honestly, this might be the most crucial part of the entire process. The test is done, the numbers are in, but what do they actually mean? How do you know you're picking the real winner?
Now, your first instinct is probably to look at the click-through rate, the CTR, right? Whichever one got more clicks must be the winner. But that's a trap. It's not the whole picture. The single most important metric, the one that tells you the true story, is total watch time. Think about it from YouTube's perspective. Their number one goal is keeping people watching for as long as possible. So, the thumbnail that results in the most watch time, that's the one the algorithm is going to fall in love with and push to more people.
And this table right here makes it crystal clear. Look at thumbnail B. It's got a higher CTR, 5.8%. Looks like the winner, right? But hold on. Look at the watch time. Thumbnail A, even with a slightly lower CTR, generated over 1,000 more minutes of watch time. That means it attracted the right audience, people who actually stuck around. Thumbnail A is the undeniable winner here.
So let's tie this all up in a neat little bow. This is your winning formula. First, always start with your thumbnail and title concept before you make the video. Second, test just a couple of distinct visual elements against each other. Third, focus on creating strong visual contrast to stop that scroll. And finally, when the results are in, always trust watch time as your true north. It never lies. The potential for your next video to absolutely pop off is sitting right there in your YouTube studio. So the only question left is, for your very next video, which one of these elements are you going to test first? Is it going to be the face, the expression, the layout, or the color? The views are waiting for your answer.